Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, we don't know what's going to happen at E3, but we pretend that we do. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, joined as always by my co-host Mark Mitchell.
Hey, Patrick, how's it going?
Going good, Mark. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
I had some late in the afternoon coffee.
Oh, wow.
I've messed up my coffee schedule. I'm normally like a first thing in the morning. I brew coffee.
Uh-huh. Are you one of those like Kathy mugs, don't talk to me until I've
Yes,
had my
that's right.
coffee
Don't talk
type
to me
people?
until yeah, that's right. And usually I try to combine that with like a Garfield mug, let people know not to bug me on a Monday.
Mhm.
It's an important comic balance. And today I don't know why. I wasn't like in the groove of morning. Didn't make coffee. Went to work, had some coffee at work, but it's not quite the same as like sitting down and having a couple cups while I'm typing away or whatever. So
So you like to ease into the morning?
I do. Well, I do a lot in the morning
Yeah.
before I go to work.
Mhm.
My normal wake up time is in the 5:30 to 6 o'clock area.
I am so impressed by that, and it's so gross to me. Like, I couldn't operate that way. I'm like the opposite. I stay up really late and do everything,
Right.
and then in the morning I just roll out of bed in the like bare nick of time for me to get to work.
See, but we're both we're both like doing comedy stuff. So like your more night owl-y schedule makes sense for like what we're trying to like when we're here recording this podcast until like 10:30 or 11 o'clock on Monday night. I like get stressed out that I'm staying up so late on a weeknight.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Weather report.
I think we're getting into this like June gloom situation.
Yes, absolutely. Where it's like overcast, sometimes just in the morning, sometimes all day.
Mhm.
It's tough when it's all day.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
You don't mind it?
No.
You're ready for some gloom?
Yeah, a little bit.
Mark, what have you been playing?
We've both been playing Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Conquest.
That's right.
Of course.
And I was supposed to post an episode of that last week, wasn't I? All right.
Do you know what? Were you, or was last week an off week?
I don't remember. I was traveling for a little bit in the middle of the week. So forgive us if it's been 2 weeks since we did one of those. I think
Yeah.
I was supposed to. All right, so this is the debug. This is now the debug.
Okay. Yeah. We're debugging.
We're debugging.
If we did mess that up.
Right, or we'll debug this next week.
When
Okay.
it turns out we didn't mess it up. So either we posted one last week, or okay, we didn't post one last week.
That's correct.
But if we didn't, then there will be an episode of that coming up on Thursday.
For sure, there will be an episode of it coming out on Thursday.
Why? Why would there be one for sure?
Well, because we definitely didn't post one last week. And
Oh,
if we were
right.
supposed to,
Right. Yes. Yes.
So look,
It's either coming out this week on accident or on purpose.
that's right.
Yeah.
And then we'll probably just do the next one the week after that anyway, and it'll be done. Or I'll forget about it and it'll be a couple months. You're playing Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Kong Quest along with us, so you've already experienced this, but tune in and listen to us complain about it. What else have we been playing?
I didn't really play a whole lot this past week.
Did you get a chance to jump in on the test punch?
I
the
didn't.
second
Not
time?
on the second one. No.
I hopped in again just in the Saturday from 11 to 12 window is like the most convenient one for me. So I got in on that one again and played another couple rounds. Just kind of sticking to Springman. There was a second where I was like, gotta play that Twin Tail. Gotta play Twin Tail.
Did you try it out?
No, I didn't. I was just it's cool. There were a lot more like new game modes available in this version of the Test Punch, including the 3 players against the boss character Headlock, and also Hoops and Target Practice, all of which were fun to do. Hoops, I think I like better than volleyball. And yeah, it was fun. I'm discovering that I'm not very good at it. but that'll come in time.
Are you playing primarily motion controls?
Yeah, I actually haven't played without motion controls yet. Let's see. I was on a plane this week, so I was playing my 3DS because I figured, hey, let's leave the Switch at home.
Precious cargo.
It's precious cargo. There's no reason to like add another thing to my bag. The 3DS is so small. It's not really like adding something different. So I played. I did a to Colorado and back day. So I flew there and back on the same day. And on my flight out, I was like awake and full of energy and like I'm gonna play Fire Emblem, and it was fun and all of that. And then on the way back, I was like, I just need something to numb my brain, which is Pocket Card Jockey, a game that I still love. It's just playing solitaire to make horses race. The game is so good, Mark.
And it's developed by
by Game Freak.
Yeah.
It's
one of those
people.
weird Game Freak titles.
So that's what I've been playing. You haven't been playing anything else? You get any more Zelda time in or anything?
No, this past week I haven't really had a chance to touch anything.
I said you didn't get a chance to get any more Zelda time in, but are you still playing?
I am, yeah. I'm not like finished with it, even though I got all the shrines. But there's still like so many side quests and just like things that I still want to do and explore. That I am not done yet.
Well, very good. We will check in on that, I'm sure, later. Mark, let's get into the news.
So there's a Pokemon Direct happening today.
Tuesday morning.
Mm-hmm. That possibly has already happened by the time you listen to this, because it's happening at 7 a.m. Pacific time.
Right. So even though you listen to this first thing right as it posts, and then tell all of your friends about it and like subscribe, share. It's happening real quick. Nintendo's doing this a lot, right? Of like announce a thing on Monday that happens on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Which makes me think we're recording this show on the wrong day.
But now it's built into our schedule.
Right.
So what are we going to do?
I don't know, nothing.
So their E3 presentation is exactly 1 week later.
Right.
Everybody's kind of expecting this to be the big... So it's only going to be like 8 minutes long.
Right.
Which is about the same, a little bit longer than the Direct that announced Sun and Moon. So everybody's kind of expecting this to be Stars, which is the rumored
third form of Sun and Moon. And I guess it could be either this game on 3DS, which is sort of what we're expecting, but it could also be the game on Switch.
Yeah. So so initially the rumor from Eurogamer was that it was a Switch title, and with like the new 2DS XL being released in the summer, now people are I guess going back the other way and thinking that it's a 3DS title. It seems like right now the rumor is that it's going to be like a crossover title, like Monster Hunter Double Cross.
Oh, interesting.
So it'll be on both the 3DS and the Switch. I think that for me, that's the ideal situation because I'd like to see it on the Switch.
Yeah.
But if it's on any platform, it really just makes the most sense for it to be on the 3DS.
Yeah. I think it's also possible that the Direct could be Stars and something else.
Like Pokken Tournament?
Like Pokken Tournament, yeah.
Because that's been rumored for a while. And like last week, there was like a fighting stick listing that went up that mentioned Pokken Tournament and was taken down. Again, that doesn't mean anything. That could have been them, making something up.
Right.
But
them being hopeful.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be another game for this thing. I could totally see the Direct being Stars coming to the 3DS and Stars, I'm right. And Pokken Tournament coming to the Switch, especially because like that game got so much post-release support just in arcades that like they were never able to really like sell that additional content anywhere, just in arcades.
But we don't have to wait too long to find out.
Nope.
anyone who buys NBA Playgrounds on Switch before the game's online patch drops will be entitled to Shaq Fu: A Legend Reborn at no extra cost when it releases this fall.
This is maybe the weirdest sentence you've said on the podcast.
And I've said some
You've said
terrible
just
things.
awful. Okay. Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if it's like trying to be a make good for the fact that the Switch title launched, a little bit janky,
Right.
had no online. So it feels like it's like a make good for early adopters.
Yeah.
Because the patch that drops is a pretty big patch. So the upcoming game update is going to reduce the file size of NBA Playgrounds on Switch by close to half.
Insane.
Increase the resolution, and of course add online play.
Yeah.
So I think it is just kind of like a make good to early adopters.
It's so interesting that I guess we've known this forever that like games release in like incomplete forms. But it's just like it seems like some basic maintenance stuff of like make sure the game isn't bigger than it has to be. Make sure it's optimized for the platform. Nah, just push it out however it is. Fix it later.
And I'm sure they probably, had Switch hardware. The developers of this, I'm sure, had Switch hardware later than they had,
Sure.
Xbox and PS4 hardware. And so to them, they were probably balancing, do we put it out day and date, even though and then optimize later?
Right.
And that, or, like hold it and polish it. And they opted to release it when they did. Yeah.
All
right. Square Enix and Tokyo RPG Factory announced Lost Sphere for Switch. It's a new RPG, kind of in that same. It looks really similar to I Am Setsuna in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I actually I spent a little bit of time playing I Am Setsuna again this week. Didn't mention it in the what we've been playing. I only did for like half an hour or so. I need to get to a point where like I can sink a couple hours into it and like get hooked by it. But the game is I Am Setsuna is beautiful and has a really like haunting musical aesthetic, and just it's really cool, and I'm looking forward to playing more of it. Did you get a chance to watch the trailer for Lost Sphere?
No.
It looks great. It looks like you said, just like I Am Setsuna, but I don't know. I'm excited for that kind of game. I like that.
Some other game announcements this week. Indivisible, the new game from the developers of Skullgirls, is coming to the Switch, as is the yet-to-be-revealed new game from the creator of Super Meat Boy and The Binding of Isaac. Also, 3D platformer Boy, which was originally announced for the Wii U, will also be coming to the Switch.
So lots of games coming to the Switch. Do we know anything about this Indivisible game? Is it a fighter?
It's not a fighter.
Okay.
It's like a action, like a beat 'em up RPG or something like that.
Okay.
That's really all I know about it. Did you ever play Skullgirls?
Yeah. I liked Skullgirls. It's very Street Fighter-y. So I liked it a lot. Are there any of these games that you're excited about or interested in checking out?
I'll be interested to see what the new game from the Super Meat Boy and Binding of Isaac folks is going to be. And I don't know. So like I Am Setsuna, originally when it was a Switch launch title, I was kind of interested in it, but the more I was like reading about it, it's not that it seems like it's a bad game, just that it is very you feel its budget. If that makes sense.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. And so it'll be interesting to see if they are able to build off what they did with I Am Setsuna in Lost Sphere.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, have it be a little more feel like fully formed.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things about I Am Setsuna is that like it all takes place in this similar environment, like it's a snowy world.
Which is cool because I mean you don't really see that.
Right. Yeah, most RPGs are like basically any kind of game that gives you a full or like more open world to explore gives like crazy kind of variety. There'll be a lava world, and I mean, like we saw that in Breath of the Wild, right? That like every corner of the planet is different. And it is sort of cool to be like, no, this is all in one continuous space that's going to have like a similar environment, but turns out maybe that's a little bit boring.
And same with like the another thing that people sometimes criticize about I Am Setsuna is the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Right, that it does become like initially you're taken by the starkness of it, and by the end
Right.
you're just kind of, it just feels repetitive.
Yeah. That's interesting because I feel like that the first part of that at any rate can definitely be said of Breath of the Wild, right? That it doesn't have like these big symphonic moments, that everything is more like piano driven and stark, like you say. But I don't think the Zelda music ever like overstays its welcome.
Yeah, I agree. Although I do wish there was a little, I like the music in Breath of the Wild, but I do wish there was more variety.
Sure.
And when the like variety really kicks in, it like feels so great.
Yeah.
You know, like when you're what is the name of the prince? The fish prince?
Yeah.
Sidon?
Yeah. Sidon.
Sidon?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you're like riding on him,
Yep.
you know, and to the divine beast.
Yeah. I think all of the Divine Beast approaches have cool music that's different from that kind of minimalist piano stuff.
Yeah, and so it really pays off there.
Yeah. And if I Am Setsuna isn't, maybe maybe that's it, is that they're not properly punctuating like those bigger moments with something different.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm interested in it.
Yeah.
I'm you know, they are of course always going to be working under really strict budgets.
Sure.
But
well, and I mean, as far as I can tell, you still haven't gotten to a fight in Dragon Quest VII, right?
Yeah, no, it is always there on my 3DS. And I really wish it was on the Switch. I would probably play it if it was on the Switch. I guess like the big news for the week was the Nintendo Switch Online announcement.
Yes, let's talk about this.
Yeah, so Nintendo just kind of like dropped this again. I feel like it's one of those like pre-E3 things that I don't really expect at E3 we're going to have any more clarity on it.
Right. Well, it's weird because it's something that people have been asking for more information about forever. And then just like a week before E3, it just sort of like slips out.
Well, okay. There's actually not that much information when
Okay.
you really like break it down, which again is like one of those frustrating Nintendo type things to do. Like here's like a tiny bit more information, but it just kind of raises more questions than it answers. So we know the pricing in the US is going to be $20 per year, $4 per month, or $8 for 3 months.
That makes it the cheapest of the online services offered by the main 3 platforms
by far. So the pricing is going to be, it's by like user.
Okay.
Which is pretty, I mean, similar to how it is on PlayStation as well, right?
Yeah, I think so.
But I think with that $20, it is a lot cheaper, and I think that means that we can expect it won't be as robust.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
As Plus or Gold. It'll be free until 2018, which is different from what they were saying at launch when it was supposed to come out in the fall. It's the limited version of the app, meaning the smartphone app, smart device app, will still be coming in summer. And so it'll be free all the way until the full version launches sometime in 2018.
Okay.
So it comes with classic game selection, which is going to be a collection of retro, at this point, just NES titles like Super Mario Bros. 3, Balloon Fight,
and Dr. Mario.
Were the examples given. And
2 great games and a terrible game.
They will all have some sort of online functionality or like new functionality. And originally when it was announced, they were just going to have one of these per month. And then it seemed like it would just disappear after a month.
Yeah,
like you didn't have it in perpetuity.
Right. Or at least that was unclear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks like they've changed how they're going to do it. And now they're going to release these titles at once. And it'll be just in a collection that you have access to as long as you have a Nintendo Switch Online subscription.
Right. So it's not like this isn't the virtual console yet, really, right? Like you need to be subscribing to it in order to play these games.
Right. And they're still being cagey about Virtual Console, which makes me wonder if it's even going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Right? They are saying that this is separate, that like the what do they call it? Classic game selection is separate from Virtual Console, but they're not talking about Virtual Console. And who knows, maybe at E3 that's when they're going to release more details on it, or maybe we won't hear about it for months yet.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just not a thing that's going to exist anymore.
I mean, that seems insane to me. Because, like, I guess who knows? I always assumed that it's something that was profitable for them. I don't know how it wouldn't be to just continue to just sell me copies of Super Mario Brothers 3. But, like, maybe they don't see enough of a return on investment from putting those up on their platforms. But you would think that would be different on something like Switch, which has that, like, versatility of play it on the go or play it at home, play it with two people on the go.
I mean, I still hope Virtual Console is a thing, but maybe they are reaching. I guess it seems like it should cost them basically nothing to release the games that have already been put on there. But we're all kind of itching for GameCube Virtual Console at this point. You know, at the bare minimum, and that would take, I think, more work because the Switch doesn't have analog controllers or anything like that.
Right.
Or like the bumpers.
Right. It doesn't have analog triggers, yeah.
Yeah, analog triggers. And so, like maybe they're reaching the point where it's not worth it to them.
Sure, but I mean, it's weird that and maybe it's just so that they always have something in their back pocket, but like there's so much in the catalog before you get to GameCube that they could re-release and that people would be excited about. And the list doesn't begin and end at NES games, you know.
Yeah, but I'm always surprised at how hesitant they seem to be to emulate anything other than NES.
Yeah.
Because and maybe it's because the systems weren't really built for it, but like the 3DS didn't get SNES emulation until
super late.
Yeah, until like the new 3DSs were released.
Yeah, and there aren't Game Boy Advance games on the 3DS, which is also insane.
And when they're talking about the classic game selection, they're saying we're exploring doing Super Nintendo titles, but like it doesn't seem like they're actively pursuing it,
which is just nuts to me. Like,
so I guess like I don't really understand what they're doing in their like Virtual Console space.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we're going to get any like clarity or resolution on that in anytime soon.
Do you think in some ways this keeping a Virtual Console off of the Switch, at least for however long, adds some value to the 3DS and the Wii U, which do have those?
I don't think they are concerned about adding value to the Wii U anymore.
Sure, no one is. Sorry I brought it up.
But for the 3DS, I guess, but I feel like that library is so different that overall, that I don't think it's really like a differentiating factor where they would be like, you can buy an 3DS because you can play Virtual Console games.
Yeah.
Which like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, just if you were looking to play Super Nintendo games right now, like, it wouldn't be a smart move to like get a Switch and like hope that they're going to come there, because who knows when that's going to be. That could be a year down the road. It could be never. Or pick up a 3DS, new 3DS, because it needs to have that extra computing power to run Super Nintendo games, and play those games there. I don't know. It's just it's very strange to me that like one of their most highly regarded systems, that library is being like sort of abandoned here.
Yeah, and maybe this is all for naught, and next week they'll have a big blowout and Virtual Console will get detailed.
Right, and you get all the Super Nintendo games for free automatically just for owning a Switch.
Yeah,
that could happen.
That could happen.
It's not going to happen,
but it could.
Sure.
And of course, the big thing with Nintendo Switch Online is that voice chat and parties and all that kind of stuff is going to happen in the smartphone app and will not happen on the system itself.
Right.
So that means that if you want to have voice chat in handheld mode and you also want to listen to the game's audio,
Right. You're going to need some sort of Franken device.
and so is it Hori?
Yeah.
They announced a Splatoon 2 headset that looks like dumb.
It's a lot. The head.
I mean, it's just a splitter. That's all it is, right?
right.
Is like
well,
a,
there's also a headset that goes with it,
oh, okay.
which kind of looks cool. Has like a swappable
Well,
pink and green.
yeah, like the
earpiece.
the hardware itself looks fine. Like the switcher,
Yeah.
or the splitter, it is like a squid.
Right.
Like
it's a squitter.
Yeah, and that's kind of cool looking. But basically, the way it works is you have to, like plug it into your Switch,
Right.
and then you also have to plug it into your smartphone or like smart device, and then the headset,
right.
like
So-
takes the input from both and feeds it into your headset.
How does that work if you're, I guess if you're playing in TV mode, that you're just hearing the audio from the TV?
I think that's what they're
that they're
counting on.
assuming- Yeah, okay.
And that in handheld mode, maybe you're playing in a public place.
Right, but if
where
you're playing
you
in
would
a
need
public
this.
place, I guess you have it Wi-Fi or something.
Sure, yeah.
You're in like a coffee bean and it's got you're on the Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Okay.
or like in a library,
Sure.
like so you would need this kind of device. I don't know. I'm not sold on it being a smartphone app.
Yeah, I mean it just having to have this like extra piece of hardware to do something that seems like it should be built into the hardware is like a bummer,
I
right?
mean, and it's not like we don't have smart devices. Like I have my phone within 5 feet of me 99% of my day.
Right.
So it's not like that is a huge deal. I don't know. Do you think it's a tech thing? Do you think it's a safety thing? Do you think it is Nintendo's way of trying to incorporate smart devices into the Switch experience? Like I don't really understand the point.
Of not just running all of that stuff through the Switch itself.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that they are trying to maximize the performance that they're getting out of that machine, right? Trying to give you the closest thing to a like high definition console experience on the go. And so like every cubic inch of that thing is being committed to that. And when you run chat, audio chat, it does take up like space in the thing, right? Like games you'll see like increased lag when you're using voice chat, and I think they're just like, you know what, people already have a device that will do this. So like I get the logic behind it, but it removes the like it just works aspect of both like what we love about our smart devices and what we like about the Switch, that like it just works is going to go to like it just works if you have this splitter and like have this thing synced up with this thing. I don't know. I mean, it's possible that like once we get the thing and get our hands on it, that it works way better than we think it's going to, and is like a engaging or fun or easy experience. I don't know. I just don't see that right now, and I feel like Nintendo's track record is such that like I don't have a ton of faith in it to be easy or to work right away. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this thing other than just not being sold by it just yet?
Yeah, I feel like even if the app is good,
right, what does it even mean for the app to be good?
Yeah,
right?
or like I think you have to sell me on why I would do this instead of just like Skyping.
Yeah.
Right? And maybe there's functionality where you can form a party on your phone and then like that's reflected on your Switch, and so you can hop into a game of Mario Kart and like the party
right.
like
yeah, I mean like
is already together type thing.
Yeah, I mean if I can look at my phone and I can see that like you're playing Mario Kart and like Greg's playing Splatoon, and I can just like tap on one of you guys and like see who's playing what, and then when I turn on my Switch, it's automatically got me in that same party like ready to play. That is something kind of cool.
But if it is just like, hey, I'm gonna like basically call you, except
Right.
I'm going to do it through this Nintendo Switch app on my phone. And then once we're, like connected in party chat, then it's like, okay, I'm hopping into this. Join me, and we'll try to like hook up in a lobby
Right.
on Mario Kart.
Yeah, I mean, if it's gonna be like when I was 12 years old, calling my friend Ryan to be like, okay, now you're gonna get on on Warcraft BattleNet, and we'll try to like hook up and play a game together. Work on it for like an hour and a half, and then fail and not play Warcraft that night.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm worried it's going to be.
Yeah,
So hopefully a lot of, if they can make it as seamless as possible,
yeah,
that'll be ideal. But it kind of remains to be seen.
yeah.
And it remains to be seen on when we're going to see anything about it. Like, is it going to come out in time for Splatoon 2? Or is this something that
I feel like it has to be out in time for Splatoon 2, right? The release date on the headset is July 21st, which is the same as the release date for Splatoon 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that's a no-brainer then. It
Right.
seems like this app will probably be coming out around the same time as Splatoon 2 does.
Right. It seems like it should be out, or I mean, maybe not. I was going to say, it seems like it should be out in time for ARMS' launch, but that's a week away.
Well, maybe is it a week?
A week and a half.
Yeah, so maybe they will drop it at E3.
Yeah.
I don't know. What was this? What was the voice chat situation on Splatoon 2 or Splatoon?
0.
Oh, okay.
No voice chat. So.
And there was not on the Wii U at all, right?
That's right. I mean, there was a microphone for the Animal Crossing game, but was that on Wii or on Wii U?
That was on Wii.
Okay, so
because I don't even think there wasn't a full Animal Crossing game on Wii U.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So yeah, this headset that we've been talking about, the Hori Splatoon 2 one, is, as far as we can tell, just Japan only at this point.
Right.
But they are bringing some of their Splatoon 2 accessories over here, like stickers and like carrying cases and things like that.
And some of the carrying cases, I saw like went up for pre-order today or over the weekend or something, and they look cute. Like they look like that squid or it's cool looking stuff.
Finally, Sonic Mania launches August 15th.
Sonic Mania.
The standard edition is only $20, which is like the download.
Sure.
But there is a collector's edition, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it actually has a cartridge in it. It's just like, or a game cart, whatever they're calling them.
Yeah.
It just comes with the box and like I think a statue of Sonic and stuff like that.
Okay.
But it just has like a code to download the game inside.
I feel like that's sooner than I was expecting. Sonic Mania.
Yeah, they said summer.
Okay.
Because the other one, Forces, is
Mhm.
coming out in fall, and this is the one that I know I'm gonna buy it. And do you know what we should have our good friend Ryan on here, who's a big Sonic booster.
Yeah.
And we should have him on when this game comes out so he can explain Sonic
the appeal of Sonic.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
Because I know I'm gonna buy it because I know I'm gonna get caught up in like the hype
Mm-hmm.
and especially if it reviews well, and I have a sad sinking feeling that I'll try it for like 3 minutes and just be like, I don't get this game.
Right. It would be like, oh, I don't have this nostalgia, so it doesn't work on me.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. It looks, I don't know. Every couple of years, I like buy back into Sonic for like a second, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get Sonic Colors, or I'll buy Sonic 4, or whatever, because I have positive memories of Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast, or it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah. I mean, I have no interest in 3D Sonic.
Right.
I want to try to understand like classic 2D Sonic.
We'll get there, Mark.
I don't know that I ever will, but I will definitely be paying $20 to fail.
Right. Well, that'll be our testing ground then. If Sonic Mania, which by all accounts looks to be a like realized modern version of classic Sonic, if that fails, then that's it. We swear off Sonic forever.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
All right, good.
Because what would possibly be the point? New releases for the week.
Let's move into new releases.
We got Farming Simulator 2018 coming out today.
Yep.
For the
June 6th.
3DS.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like with a title like Farming Simulator 2018, you know what you're getting.
It's a side-scrolling beat 'em up.
And then on June 8th for the 3DS eShop is Anime Workshop.
Probably
Again,
another
feel like you're
self-explanatory
probably
game.
gonna get what you think it is. Goner. It's GONNER, but the NNER are capitalized.
Right. The only letter not capitalized is the O.
Yes.
Right.
So I don't know if that's supposed to be pronounced a special way.
I assume it's just Goner. This was one of those games that was included in the Nindy showcase before the Switch came out. And we watched the trailer just before we rolled tape on this episode. There's no actual tape. What am I saying? It looks kind of neat.
It does.
It's like a side-scrolling platformer meets like shoot 'em up kind of thing, with that very like inside art style. Like it's spooky but also kind of cute. I don't know. It seems neat.
It does seem neat. It seems, and this is not a knock on this game specifically, but in general, it seems like indie games are all just kind of cribbing from the same playbook.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so, and like especially with like the soundtrack that was in the trailer is very just like stark electronic.
It gave me anxiety
but
listening to that music.
But it's a very similar like sonic aesthetic to what like a lot of what I at this point I'm just like, this is just typical indie game.
Yeah, I get that.
I guess basically I'm like eager for the next thing.
Right.
In like
you don't need any
design.
more like big-headed scary children traversing stark environments.
Right, with to electronic music.
Right.
And and that's not like, again, like a knock on this game because it looks very well produced.
Mm-hmm.
It looks appealing, but it just looks like something we've seen a lot.
Have you played any of those games?
No.
Great. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the closest I've come to playing a game like that is Braid, and that's even different enough, especially sonically speaking. But yeah, like I haven't played Inside or Limbo or any of those games.
I feel like and a lot of times these games or indie games in general like take joy in being punishing.
Sure. You don't want to be punished.
I just don't I don't have the time.
Yes.
You know, it's like occasionally a game that's like has very high built-in difficulty, something like a Bloodborne or Dark Souls will really grab me.
Right.
But a lot of the times it's just not really like my thing.
Right.
Like when I was playing Dragon Inquisition a few years ago, I just played on easy. Because it's like the combat in this game isn't rewarding enough for me to like really try to want to master it. I just want to become overpowered and just blow through everything.
Right. Well, and that's not why you play a Dragon Age game. Yeah, it's frustrating when games don't know why you're playing them. Like, I shouldn't have to tell you why I'm playing you, game.
And then also this week on the Switch eShop on June 8th is it Shantae? Shantae, like Shantae You Stay.
Yeah,
like RuPaul's Drag Race.
Mm-hmm.
It's
hey, I knew that reference.
It's
thank you for explaining. But I knew it.
Shantae Half Genie Hero.
Right. Making its way to the Switch.
Mm-hmm. And plus some Neo Geo game that I don't know what it is.
No one ever will. Mark, let's move out of the news. Now it's time for a regular segment on the show. It's 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or a group of performers didn't play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of this show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo, so for the duration of one performance of 433, Mark and I will talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Mark, I'd like to talk about, I don't know how to sum this up briefly, but housework, doing chores, cleaning the apartment. And it's on my mind because our landlord, who owns the building, is having, I guess she offers this every year. This is the first year that we've been in the apartment. She's offering to have people come in and clean the apartment tomorrow. like professional cleaning of the apartment. Feels kind of decadent, right? Like there's gonna be people in this space, maybe wiping down the table.
I think that sounds great.
It sounds great, because I don't like doing it. I don't like cleaning. I don't like how long it takes. I don't like getting hot doing it.
Do you feel rewarded after you're done?
I don't know if I feel rewarded after I'm done. I really like being in a space after I clean it. So maybe that's a yes. Do you feel that, or is it all just resent for you?
No. So how would you? I would classify myself as a neat person.
Right.
Like a neat person striving towards cleanliness. So it's like I like things to be orderly,
Mm-hmm.
and like cleanliness comes with some of that, but occasionally it just means that like everything in the bathroom is well arranged, but on closer inspection has not
Covered
been
in
cleaned for a
filth,
while. So but I feel like I do feel like there's a difference between being like
Yeah.
neat
Mm-hmm.
and being clean.
Yeah, I would say that I'm not a particularly neat guy, but I do put stuff away. Like I favor just hiding things. It makes it sound more like devious, like I'm a squirrel or something. No, like yeah, I guess I am kind of orderly in that regard. But also, yeah, I mean, when it comes time for me to like wipe something down or like dust, that's when I'm like, oh God, it has been a long time. And part of that is also just LA is a dusty place.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I dust or sweep, I'm astounded by the amount of stuff that's there.
And so I live in an older apartment, like an older building, and so there is no insulation.
Right.
So like when the wind blows, dust comes underneath my windowsill like it's a like Depression era cartoon.
That's right.
And just covers everything in a fine level of
It actually takes the shape of a ham.
Of a ham.
Right. No, a ham.
Oh, a ham.
And then you see it and you drool because it's the Depression. Right.
I get it.
You get it. What does the hand do in your version of this?
Like makes things dirty.
Oh, okay. I like that too. Do you have any like problem spots in the house that you let go for too long before you try to clean it? Or something that you just can't get clean no matter how
probably
much
like
you
the
try?
backsplash around the stove.
That's tough because that gets like greasy and dusty at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bad combo.
What about you?
I feel like I'm fighting a losing battle against our garbage cans, where every time I take out the garbage, I then put like dish soap in them and like spray them with we've got the like sink thing detaches so I can like really get in there and like scrub them so that they don't. You know, my kitchen and my living room, they're all like one big room and the garbage cans are literally in the center. So if the garbage smells, there's no getting away from it.
I'm a very like olfactory person, and so like an errant smell in the apartment my apartment will drive me crazy.
Yeah. Where do you usually find that smell is?
The refrigerator.
Refrigerator, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one. There was not that long ago, there was like this putrid smell that we were like, where is that? Is it coming from the garbage disposal? Not from the garbage disposal. Is it from the fridge? It's not from the fridge. It turns out it was from this cabinet where we were keeping potatoes. And the potato
cabinet?
Yeah, the potato cabinet. Sorry, I should have just said our potato cabinet. And one of the potatoes had just like liquefied.
Oh, gross.
It was real gross.
I'm always worried that something's gonna like die in the wall, and I won't be able to, because like I can Sherlock Holmes my way to finding out where the smell is coming from. If it's a non-dead animal stuck in a wall cause.
Right. I mean, we all remember that Sherlock Holmes story where he's just sniffing around.
That's like 90% of them is he like smells ash in a room and he's like, well, I know the window had to have been open.
Right.
Because otherwise the smell of gunpowder wouldn't have flown down the hallway as quickly as it did. That's a real Sherlock Holmes story, I'm pretty sure. If not, it should be.
It should be. That's a good set
write
of
it.
clues. Yeah, our first apartment in LA, we ended up moving out of because we had like a plumbing thing, and there was mold under our sink, and like we couldn't get rid of it, and we'll never find out the resolution on that. We were accompanied today by the Sinfonica Conservatorio Nacional, Quito, Ecuador. That's gonna do it for this segment. Let's move into our topic of the week and try to predict what's gonna happen at E3. All right, Mark, E3, Nintendo. What? Tuesday morning.
Let's
start with,
a week from today.
Right. Let's start with what we do know. Okay. A week from today. Tuesday morning.
Going to focus primarily. So Nintendo, of course, doesn't do live conferences anymore at E3. So this will be a like special direct, basically. It'll be probably about an hour long.
Sure.
And we've been told that their E3 is going to focus on Super Mario Odyssey and primarily Switch games that are coming this year.
Right. So that means things left off the table. Or not that they're off the table, but just that they haven't been mentioned explicitly, the 3DS and 2018 and beyond.
So, and after Nintendo's done this for the past few years, but after their presentation, they will begin Treehouse Live,
right?
Where they stream from the floor of the E3 convention, and they have people from Treehouse, like Treehouse employees, and then other guests from Nintendo. Like talking about games, streaming games, premiering gameplay of games. Have there been unannounced games that just show up in the Treehouse stream?
I think so.
So basically, like after their presentation is over, we'll still learn a ton more stuff as the rest of E3 progresses.
Right. Another part of their E3 this year is they're doing Splatoon and ARMS tournaments. So those will also be. Are they streaming those? They got to be, right?
I don't know actually.
That's a good question.
But so what do we expect to be at E3 this year, other than Super Mario Odyssey, which we know will be like seemingly the showcase game,
right? And we'll talk all about that next week, I'm sure. So it's interesting. I feel like E3 predictions are like kind of a standard topic, right? Like this is what like video game podcasts or websites or like anyone does. Like you generate what you think is going to happen at E3. You and I are both having maybe a difficult time generating like ideas or like excitement for what we think could happen, right?
Well, here's the one thing I feel really confident is about Nintendo's E3 is that no matter what happens, people are going to be disappointed.
Sure. Yeah. And that's a given.
Including possibly myself.
Right.
Like I think my expectations this year are rock bottom, and not because I think, like Nintendo's in a rough place. I actually think Nintendo is ascendant at this moment.
Right.
I just think that historically Nintendo just has weird E3s. Like they never give people what they want, no matter whatever that means.
Right. And it always means something different. It's different for every person. Okay, so maybe we can like try to go through like what are some things that we haven't heard about that we feel like we should already know about?
So, I mean, I don't know. So, Virtual Console. It's one we've talked about earlier in the podcast, so no need to like really rehash it here. But yeah, I would like some sort of clarity on what their plan going forward for Virtual Console is.
Right. And sort of maybe an extension of that, I feel like there are Wii U games that we suspected would be ported over to Switch that have not been mentioned in any official capacity, namely Smash and Mario Maker. Also Pokken Tournament, which I think will be part of the Direct, and then probably will be streamed on the Treehouse along with Stars in whatever capacity that is.
So how do you feel about like Wii U to Switch remakes in general? I'm like all for it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for it for the platform and like for the health and well-being of Nintendo. I am a little bit, I bought the Wii U, and I played a lot of these games already. If they put Mario Maker out again with like no appreciable changes or improvements to it, I don't think I'll pick it up again. I played it already, and even something like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which I like, and I'm glad that I have, and I'm glad that I have it on the go, and it has this battle mode and these new characters and stuff. Um, I don't think I'm getting the same joy out of it that everyone who's playing it for the first time or people who played it a little bit on Wii U and were like, forget it. I put over 100 hours into that game on Wii U. So like having it again feels like having it again and not like having something fresh.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I think that from like a business perspective, Nintendo would be leaving money on the table by not porting them.
For
'Cause
sure.
even like probably some of the best-selling games on the PS4 right now, or like historically,
Oh, sure.
are
Yeah.
games from the PS3 era that just got remastered.
Hey, they're putting out the Crash Bandicoot games on the
And
PlayStation
those are
4.
terrible.
Those are bad games. And they're still putting them out. So, yeah, I mean, I don't begrudge Nintendo that move at all. And I think it's a good move and a savvy move. And obviously, it costs a ton of money to develop Mario Kart 8 in the first place, and then to just leave it to die on a system that didn't have the install base to support it is like a genuine tragedy. And like that it has second life on Switch is good for the game, good for the audience. It's just a little bit underwhelming for me. I mentioned Smash, and I bought Smash on the Wii U and the 3DS and all of the DLC on both platforms.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, primarily to play it on the 3DS. I feel like it was a great portable game. I know the Wii U version of it is more robust, but like its graphical flaws are more evident on a big screen. And also, I have the 3DS in my hands with me wherever I go. So I played a lot more of it there. But yeah, so I, probably spent almost $200 on Smash 3 years ago, especially if we leave out the tens of amiibos that I bought. So
is there a Cloud amiibo coming, or am I making that up?
Yeah. The final set of amiibo are coming out this summer, which is 2 different Cloud amiibos, 2 Bayonetta, and 2 Corrin amiibos from Fire Emblem.
But all that DLC has been released. Like Cloud is already playable in Smash.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's pretty good. Overpowered, some would say. But yeah, so it's and again, like if they release that, I will probably buy it again. But yeah, I don't know that I won't have that same like, oh yeah, Smash is back, because like I have that experience with that game already.
So we are men of honor, of course.
Right? Are we not men of honor?
We truly we are.
Sure,
Truly we
yes.
are. And so I think we should like put our non-existent money where our non-existent mouth is.
Well, we have previously made $1 million bet on this podcast, if you recall.
I do.
And we tied.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So basically what I'm saying is I think we should definitively state whether we think something is going to come or whether it's not. So Virtual Console, definitively, do you believe that it is going to show up at E3 or no?
I'm going to say no, not beyond this like classic thing that we've already seen. No further mention of any games that were not originally on NES.
I agree.
Okay.
So I don't think we'll hear anything about Virtual Console.
Right.
Do you think this much rumored Smash Brothers remaster, like Smash Brothers Deluxe, is going to be at E3?
I kind of don't. You said much rumored just now, but I actually don't know that there have been like any substantive rumors about it. What are your thoughts?
I feel like they were the rumors were louder before the Switch reveal happened,
Mm-hmm.
and then they happened. We haven't heard that much about it since. It just makes too much, um, like it makes too much sense for
Yeah.
it to not be happening at some point, because I don't think we're going to get a new full Smash game.
Yeah.
But I don't think, because I think it's going to be a, like maybe May 2018 title.
I think at the earliest. We have so many like big Nintendo online multiplayer experiences either on the thing right now in Mario Kart or coming out in the next couple months with ARMS and Splatoon 2 that like I don't know that they need to fill that gap.
So unless
at
it's
the
an
moment.
early 2018 title, like February, I
Mhm.
don't think, but basically, no, I don't think we see it at E3, because I don't think it's coming out until later into 2018, and I think there's plenty of time for them to release it later.
Follow up to that. What about so far we're making the same bets. Mario Maker.
Oh, that for me is like Smash Brothers, where I remember it kind of being out there, but I don't remember hearing any really substantive rumors about
Right. Well, and it also
Mario Maker.
It also came out, was it the end of last year?
Yeah, on the
on the
3DS.
3DS. So like they've already ported it over to another platform. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, maybe that what I was saying before about Mario Kart 8, that they spent so much like time and money developing it, and then it only saw a release on the Switch, and they were like, well, or on the Wii U, we obviously had to put it over on the Switch, and maybe the fix for that for Mario Maker and Smash were that it also came out on 3DS. Like maybe they don't need to put that out on the new platform.
I feel like they need a Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Especially like you said, not very many people own a Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
And even though the 3DS version is very similar to the Wii U, it is not the Wii U version of Smash Brothers.
Right. Well, and like just the way you engage with it is necessarily different.
And now they have all these DLC characters that they can include from
Yeah.
the get-go, and basically just deluxe again. Like it just makes too much sense.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll hear about it at E3. What about Retro's game? Because they've been working on a game for a long time, and they've been, like teasing it or teasing the existence of something they've been working on.
Right. And a couple months ago, they like when the URL for E3 2017 like went live, they tweeted it and just said like, "Can you dig it?" or something like that, or "dig it."
And we, learned that I forget his name now, but there's like a composer that's
right.
like we know that they're working on something. We know that they're probably getting close to but again to having something ready. But again, it doesn't really obviously they're not going to release it this year.
Right.
But it could come out in 2018, and I don't think if they were going to have one big reveal,
yeah,
that for 2018, that seems like a
Retro's game.
A good one to have.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like that's a good one to have. I wonder if we'll see anything more about Fire Emblem on Switch. I assume we'll see something about Fire Emblem Heroes, right?
Yeah, but that's because that's coming out in probably like September,
right?
Right?
Yeah.
I feel like we may not see anything about Fire Emblems or Fire Emblem for Switch because, Heroes, or what is it called?
Yeah, Heroes.
Warriors. No, Heroes is the
oh yeah, you're right. Warriors
mobile
is right.
game.
Yeah,
Warriors, and it will be coming out. And when they at the Switch announcement, it was just
the logo.
It was just a logo.
Right.
So I don't even know if it's like far enough along for
Sure.
them to show anything at this point.
Is this a productive route that we can go down franchises and just be like, do we think we'll see anything from Yoshi franchise?
Sure.
I say no. No way we're seeing Yoshi.
Okay. Well, first, what about retro? Yes, retro. No retro.
Yes, retro. I'm gonna say definitively yes, retro. We're gonna know what the game is. We're going to maybe not see gameplay, but we'll know what it is, and we'll have like an understanding of what it is.
I feel like no. I feel
like no.
I feel like
You're
we're not
ready to
going to
have
see
your heart
anything.
broken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like we're not going to see anything from retro. It'll be another like who knows, maybe in like a January direct
Sure.
we'll finally see something about it. I would love to be wrong, but I feel like Nintendo does not give.
Right. Nintendo only withholds. Okay.
Metroid. There's another big one.
Yeah.
Because there are, again, rumors of people of it being in production. Whether co-production with like Climax or Climax. That was
Mhm.
the last big rumor, was that Climax was working on a Metroid game.
Who is Climax?
They, I believe, made like Silent Hill Shattered Memories.
That's right. Okay.
And they don't have the greatest of reputations, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they can't
There
make a
have
good
been
game.
bad Metroid
Yeah.
games. No, I don't think we'll see anything Metroid. I think at this point, Nintendo's very cautious about what Metroid stuff they show at E3. Because they didn't Federation Force was an E3 reveal, right?
That seems right.
And like everyone hated that the way that was revealed and the way that was handled. I think when I don't think they'll do Metroid at E3 again for a while, and I think when they do put the next Metroid thing out, it's going to be a version of Metroid that we actually want to play, and that people won't just savage, right? Okay, so Metroid, I say no. You say maybe?
I mean, maybe is for cowards. I'm gonna say that we do see something. I mean, if it was only last E3, that means it'd be 2 E3s in a row that had Metroid something,
Yeah.
which seems crazy to me. But yeah, I'm gonna say yeah. Why not?
Why not?
I think we will see something Metroid.
Okay, and I'm saying no. So these are 2 points that we've disagreed on so
Mhm.
far. Other franchises, Pikmin.
Yeah, there's I mean, they pretty much said that Pikmin 4 is in development.
Right. Yeah, I will also go ahead and say yeah, probably we'll see something Pikmin. I would be willing to believe that's something that's like just a logo or something like that.
It seems like they've been working on it for quite some time.
Yeah, wasn't there a while ago where there was like a rumor floating around that like the game was done or basically done or something like that?
I think that was Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, no, I know that. I feel like it was
for Pikmin 4.
also for Pikmin, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but I could see that being an early 2018 title.
Sure. Donkey Kong Country.
No, I don't think we see anything Donkey Kong Country. Although I would like to see a Tropical Freeze port.
I guess I would be okay with that. That would be another one where I'm like, well, I bought that game already. I don't think that'll happen. I think instead they will just make another Donkey Kong Country. Other franchises, Star Fox.
No way.
Star Fox.
I don't think I think Star Fox is laying low, way low for a long time.
Way low. Kirby. We've got like a couple Kirby games incoming on the 3DS.
Yeah, and I think that's where Kirby stays for this year.
That's where Kirby belongs.
I don't think we necessarily see a Switch iteration yet.
Okay.
Because the 3DS versions there'll be like 3 Kirby games this year, right? To celebrate its 30th anniversary or something like that.
Well, one of them is coming out.
One of them already came out.
Right, and there's one coming out in 2018, right? Another multiplayer Kirby game.
I thought they were all coming out this year.
I don't know, man.
I thought all one already came out, one's coming out this summer, one's coming out. There's like a multiplayer one coming out this fall or something like that. Anyways, I think
we're big Kirby fans.
I think they're preoccupied with 3DS. I don't think we see a Switch version yet.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
Because what was the last like full, not like the
Epic
Yarn, but like when was the last Yoshi Kirby title? Big fan. What was the last like fully formed Kirby title on
console?
Yeah. Is there a Wii one?
There was a Wii U one. Which I don't remember what it's called. It had like a kind of a clay aesthetic to it.
Oh, okay.
It drew lines on it. I don't know what it's called.
Oh, yeah. It was the sequel to
Canvas Curse?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called though. Other franchises: Wario, Land, or Where?
Sadly, I don't think we see either.
Yeah, I don't think we see either.
Um, I guess I'm more interested in a Wario Land.
Yeah, it's been a
than-
while.
Yeah.
What about
F-Zero.
F-Zero? No,
No.
I don't think we see an F-Zero ever again. What about Animal Crossing?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
we know that there's an Animal Crossing game incoming for iOS and Android probably.
And New Leaf's sold so many copies
Yeah,
that I what was the first Animal Crossing you played?
New Leaf.
Okay, so the
Yeah.
first one I played was on the DS, and then the I bought City Folk for the Wii because I loved Animal Crossing on the DS so much, and it wasn't a great console experience, and that is not a great game in general. City Folk is not a great game in general,
Yeah.
but like it made me realize, oh, this is not awesome. Even though I know it's where it was born, but it's like this is not awesome on the console. Like
Right.
it's better.
It's a better mobile experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better to like just check in on it whenever you can. I think I what I want to see, so I don't know if this is what's actually going to happen, but what I'd like to see is the mobile game tie into like a full console version. So like if the iPhone game somehow communicates with and directly affects your playing on the Switch, like that seems perfect to me. That seems like what Animal Crossing should be.
That'd be really interesting. I feel like the trick for them I think they would want based on what they want mobile games to do, I feel like the mobile game would have to be a standalone experience that
Yeah.
can also interact. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense to me that it could or should be able to do that.
But do we think Animal Crossing will be at E3?
I think we'll see some Animal Crossing. I know they didn't say that the mobile stuff will be part of their presentation, but I would be willing to bet that if we don't see Switch Animal Crossing, we'll see mobile Animal Crossing. I'm going to say yes.
The interesting thing about it is that all of these, and part of the reason why I think that E3 is going to be quote unquote disappointing for Nintendo is all these titles that we're talking about, except Rabbids or Mario Rabbids Kingdom, whatever it's called.
Kingdom
Battle, which
don't pretend like you don't know what it's called.
Which like, we know we almost with 100% certainty know is going to be announced at E3 and released shortly after. Everything else that we're talking about is unannounced titles that, by looking at the release calendar, aren't going to come out till 2018.
Right.
And so part of the reason why I think E3 is going to be disappointing, again, not really, but like while people will be disappointed with Nintendo's E3 is I think they're going to be focused mostly on 2017 titles that we already know about.
Yeah.
Outside of this Rabbids game, which we already know about at this point.
Right. Well,
and I think stuff that they have planned for 2018, they're not going to really talk about outside of maybe one or two announcements.
Well, and also like, we're dreaming of this like unified future where like they're not developing for 3DS and Switch and they're just developing for Switch, but they're not there yet.
I don't think, I've said this before, but I don't think any of their like major teams are working on 3DS titles anymore. I think they're still supporting the 3DS, and I think there will be new 3DS titles coming out, but I think they will mostly be coming from partners or third parties.
Yeah, I mean, but we still have the 3DS version of Fire Emblem Warriors coming out. This Hey Pikmin game. All these Kirby games.
But Fire Emblem Warriors, that's not developed in house by Nintendo.
Right. No, I know, but like I'm saying the close Nintendo partners,
but they're also developing a Switch version of that, so it's not like
Yeah. Well, no, I think it's even if that is that does indicate that they're moving in that direction. I just don't think they're there yet. Right. I think the crazy onslaught of games that we're expecting when they're just developing for one platform and have been doing it for a while, that we haven't seen that volume of game yet.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
But I don't think they are actively putting new 3DS titles into development. I think
Sure.
we are seeing the end, like we're beginning to see the tapering off tail end of their 3DS development schedule.
Yeah,
And obviously that
absolutely.
means games are going to continue to roll out for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But I would be very surprised if they're like, okay, what are we greenlighting that's 3DS oriented that's going to come out in 2 years?
Right. I mean, that sounds insane, right? To be greenlighting that kind of game now. Mother 3.
No, because I don't think they're going to talk about Virtual Console.
Yeah. You think that counts as Virtual Console?
I think if it was going to, I think so. I think if it's going to come out, it's going to come out as like part of their Virtual Console.
Sure, like when the Sin and Punishment games came out. What about a North American release for the Secret of Mana collection? I know it's
No.
not Nintendo, but no, Marcus, no. I think you're probably right.
I guess like, is there anything Nintendo? Do you think there will be any big surprises? Because even if we see Retro's new IP, or whatever Retro's
Whatever it
been
is.
working on,
Futuristic Zelda.
like it'll still be, is there any? I don't. Is there anything that Nintendo can do that will just like blow us away? Like it feels like it has the potential to be a very predictable E3, and that's not a bad thing.
Right. Also, for being what we think will be a predictable E3, we have thrown down very few actual predictions.
Well, but that's because everything we're talking about are like unannounced titles
yeah.
that we're speculating on, whereas like my honest E3 prediction is that it's going to be, here's basically all the games that are coming in 2017. Here's more information about them, like Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Oh, right.
Right?
Sure.
Like, here's more information about that. Here's more information about Fire Emblem Warriors. Here's more information about, other games that we have, Super Mario Odyssey. And that's still a lot for them to talk about for 2017.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what people are, nobody cares about games that are already announced. Like the hype train going into E3 is about the huge reveal that like takes everybody by surprise.
Right. When Nintendo hasn't really had that for years, though. Like last year, we knew it was going to be all Zelda all the time, and it was all Zelda all the time, and it's great because we love Zelda. But like, wasn't a surprise or anything like that. And the year before, it was what, Star Fox, which is like a middling level
and Mario Maker. Mario Maker was on the show floor as well.
But we had known about it ahead of that. So, and it came out just a couple months later, or like a month and a half or something. Yeah, I don't know. Kid Icarus, new Kid Icarus game. How about that? that could surprise everyone.
That would surprise everybody. Like a continuation of Uprising. Is that what that game was called? Yeah.
Which is a cool game, but it just controls insanely. Just should have dual stick controls.
And it would be possible on the Switch.
Yep.
So that's one that I don't know, like you could see ported. From the 3DS to
if
the
they
Switch.
did like an HD port of Kid Icarus Uprising with dual stick controls, I'd play that. I would definitely play that.
Yeah, so I guess my prediction for E3 is it's going to be a boring E3 that we're not going to see, that there will be one surprise announcement because whatever's being announced tomorrow doesn't count, or today.
Right.
The Pokemon
thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think what we're going to see is, I guess I put down Metroid.
Yeah.
And you think we're going to see Retro's game.
There we go.
And maybe they're one and the same.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Look, Nintendo can occasionally give us what we want. We're not going to see another Metroid game come out of Retro. Okay. On this topic of what we think is probably going to be a boring E3, we are going to alter our schedule a little bit so that we can have almost an immediate reaction to the E3 Spotlight Showcase, whatever it's called, And so our episode for next week is going to come out a little bit later in the day. We'll watch the press conference just like all of you are, and then we'll have a conversation about it, wherein we lament the fact that we didn't see Wario Land or Pikmin 4 or whatever. Yeah, and any other thoughts on E3, Mark?
Man, I would, it's always fun to hope for some like crazy big reveal.
Yeah.
That is just like completely unexpected. So there's always that part of me that's hoping that they have something like that planned, but
probably not.
But probably not.
Oh, and maybe 20 minutes of Sonic Forces. If you want to shoot over your E3 predictions, we'll get the email after, or we'll be able to talk about it after we've actually seen the thing. But any of your thoughts on Nintendo at E3, things that have, if Mark and I are missing some of those like big surprise moments, or anything like that, like shoot us an email, let us know. You can write to us at Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. Or you can hit us up on Twitter or Facebook. We're NinCart Society on Twitter, and it's just Nintendo Cartridge Society on Facebook. Let's see. That's going to do it. Mark, that's done it for this episode.
Tomorrow, Wednesday, will be on an episode of Trust the Bachelor Process.
Yeah.
Talking about last night's episode of The Bachelorette.
Right. Mark's doing some mental gymnastics right now to try and remember what day it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that.
And then in a couple weeks, I'm going to be on Hellmouthy to discuss the musical episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer Once More with Feeling. That'll be out in 2 weeks, and it was a fun time. Look, Mark and I are on all your podcasts. We're just there. If you have a second and you like this podcast, we'd love for you to rate and review us on iTunes. Also, share, tell people about the show because you like it and they'll like it too. If you like Mark and Mine's opinions, you can check out our comic book reviews and discussions on retconpunch.com. Olivia Duncan made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can find more of his music on 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers saying, I just want a WarioWare game. Thanks for listening.
What's a Creative Podcast Network?